started doing this, Tyler had this idea. I came over and did some interviews. He used to have his like computer here, and I did some interviews, or I did an interview with him, and we just kind of hit it off. Like you were all around the same age, and then he's like, "Dude, I think we should do a podcast." And I was like, "I don't
exactly
know."
How I said it. I was like, "Man, people would love to hear us yap."
You got tuner? Oh yeah, it's all tuned up. You're all good.
Yeah, I've gotten better at my guest rigs.
Oh yeah, man.
Well, with you, it's easy, bro. It's just you just put a tuner down.
Well, we will take out some electric guitars before you're gone.
Sweet.
If that's cool with you.
You got a few.
I got a few you can choose from.
Or 2 days ago, he hit me up and he's like, "Dude, have you seen Trey play electric?" And I was like, "Yes."
We'll start with these acoustic guitars. So why did you get drawn to acoustic guitar before electric, or why has that become your instrument of choice?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up, I guess, listening to more acoustic stuff, and then I remember when I started taking lessons, I probably wanted to play an electric, and the guy I took lessons from was like, "You should pick up an acoustic first and kind of get that down, and then if you want to pick up electric later." And then I got way into acoustic, and like I stuck with it for 5 or 6 years, and then got a telly. And
How old were you?
10.
Wow, 10 years old. Cool, man.
What was the song that you started playing over and over that annoyed the hell out of your parents?
I was like into way older music for when I was a kid. So I was like into Flat and Scruggs and all that stuff. And so it was nothing. I mean, there's a lot of like pretty simple single line tunes like Wildwood Flower and all that kind of stuff.
Dude, give me a little sample, dude.
You have to bear with us because we're not quite blues or like standards aficionados as you are. So,
Dude, you're dealing with a bunch of punks over
feel
here.
free to demonstrate at any moment when our eyes glaze over.
Yeah, it was all like real simple. Stuff like that,
That was the first thing.
Hey, did you,
a variation of.
did you have? Did your dad or your parents or anyone in your family play guitar, especially like the bluegrass stuff? Who was listening to it?
No, my dad played banjo when I was a kid.
Oh, cool.
But he's a car mechanic, and like he had a shop out back.
Yeah.
So he'd come in from work and then like go work on that. And he never really like focused on the banjo.
Yeah.
And so he picked up, probably 5 songs.
Do you play banjo?
Very little bit.
Yeah.
I used to play more, but I don't. It's so loud and obnoxious. I don't even have one anymore, But I always thought he was pretty good. And then, but nobody played guitar. Like he was the only one that I ever grew up in my family that I knew that played. I think like generations back maybe, but nobody that I knew.
Now, we're around the same age, so like you got into the acoustic really heavy. At the same time, I'm assuming you were hearing all this stuff we were hearing, and like, I guess this was at the time. This was like early 2000s, but I think about like the guitar. It was like new metal back then, so I was hearing all that stuff as a 10-year-old. I was hearing like Limp Bizkit and stuff on the radio.
Right. Roland, dude.
Roland.
I had that, but I definitely damaged my hearing at age 12 because of hearing that over and over.
For me, I was listening to like what my dad was listening to, so it was all like Cream and Zeppelin and all that stuff. So that's I think where that came in. So that's cool that your dad had that going.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of missed out on everything, like in the rock world or anything, like it was so specifically bluegrass in my household, and some country, but it was like that still was just an extension of the bluegrass world because it was all like Hank Williams and classic stuff,
I saw a video of you. I think you reposted it. It was probably a few weeks ago, and it was you. Where you were playing with like Marty Stewart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What was that? You were young.
Yeah, I was
So you hit
11.
the ground running.
I sell the morning paper, sir. My name is Jimmy Brown. Everybody knows that I'm the newsboy of the town.
Yeah, I started when I was 10. I met Marty. He was playing out in East Tennessee, where I'm from, at a fair.
Cool.
Out like year 2000, and it was that like transitional year for him where he just did that Pilgrim album, which is a killer Marty Stewart record, and he was kind of going to the new band that he's got now, the Fabulous Superlatives, but he was kind of doing the Rock and Roll Cowboys, I think was the name of the band then. It was a very loud country band. He was still using like 2 twin amps on stage, But I was always a big fan of his, And so when I met him at that fair, I knew like 3 songs, but I brought my guitar. I was wanting him to sign my guitar case, and I played a couple songs for him backstage, and he got me up on stage that night. Wow. And they were all like Earl Scruggs versions of songs. So whenever he invited me to play the Opry a few months later, he got Earl to come out and play those songs.
That was what I saw.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I think I'd been playing around 9 months at that time. So luckily I only played 2 songs because that's all I really did.
Your dad probably sitting there and he's like, what?
Yeah, Jimmy Brown the Newsboy was the one that I actually played on the Opry. And then I came back out at the end because we did like Foggy Mountain Breakdown or something, with Earl.
Dude, that is what a cool core memory.
Like I said, I grew up listening to Flat and Scruggs, and like that was my first memory of wanting to get into music was those records and like seeing Earl Scruggs' face on album covers. And then it was at the Ryman, and so at the time, this would have been 2002. So there was only, still, I don't think they'd like really renovated the Ryman backstage yet. Okay. So there was still only like 2 dressing rooms back there. And they put me and Earl in the same dressing room. And so from like 4:30 until 7:30, I just got to sit back there and ask him questions. And so I think all like the nerves had dissipated.
Nice.
Yeah.
I wasn't really nervous at all. And then I think like 83 people from my hometown drove to Nashville to see that. So I
83 of them.
Dude, you had like a legit like a roadway.
Yeah, I sold like
an entire Johnson
a tenth
City
of the
neighborhood.
tickets at the Ryman that night.
That's great.
To hometown folks.
That's great.
But yeah, that was fun. A lot of family there.
What advice did he give you backstage? Do you remember anything that sticks out?
It was not. Earl was he was very reserved, so there was nothing like ever. So you should do this. You should.
Here's what I'll say to change your life.
Yeah, there was nothing like that. But it was a lot of like, because I play with a flat pick and he played with a thumb pick and 2 finger picks. Because he played banjo, and so I was picking up all these notes that he was playing. Like I would do them if it was. All the stuff he would play, like he's doing 2
With the
fingers.
thumb, yeah.
And so, but he did show me like a song called Georgia Buck, which is.
Hold up, dude. Are you like a big Chet Atkins guy?
I wasn't, but I have become one. Like listen to him, but like it was that stuff's so foreign, and it's so weird because like I'm more into Merle Travis, and that's like 2 finger. You don't use your middle finger at all.
Man, that's wild that you're able to like. That's like, it's almost like the classical thing where there's like such strict rules, but obviously they're player specific almost, or like style specific.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't into the Merle Travis stuff until I loved it, but I guess like 2021 or something like that was the 50th anniversary of that Nitty Gritty Dirt Band Will the Circle Be Unbroken album, and they did 2 nights at the Country Music Hall of Fame Theater. They wanted like a particular artist to play the part of like a person that was on that record. So they had Carlene Carter did the Maybelle Carter songs, and anyway, they asked me to do Merle Travis stuff, and I was just like, yeah, of course
I'll be there.
And then like the realization hit. It's like I don't play that style, so I had to buy like a thumb pick and a finger pick and sit there and
Get it all
try to work that out.
I have a similar story where I joined an Incubus cover band in college, and I knew 2 Incubus songs, but I loved them. I was like, yeah, I could join an Incubus cover band. And then I started listening to all the songs and all the effects and all this stuff, and I'm like, I gotta put my money where my mouth is right now.
Well, I think it's like a testament. Like I've said that to a lot of people. It's like there's been times where I've been asked to do things. I have no idea how, and I go, of course,
I'll figure it. That's for future me.
You're on the way home. You're like, all right, let me figure this out, and then you just dive in.
That's it. I mean, and I think it makes you a better player if it works out.
Yeah, 100%.
Even if it doesn't work out, it makes you better.
Yeah, it humbles you, which is a state of being that I find a lot of our guests are in is this humility state of they're all so great and yet always searching. And
It is, yeah.
Well, dude, you're sitting right where Tommy Emmanuel sat.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you and Tommy are homies.
Yeah.
But he had such great things to say about you. But it's like the same thing on the acoustic level. I feel like there's so many. It's just endless.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like once you know that you're never gonna master it. It's like the guitar.
Yeah.
It's like you're the ultimate student.
acoustic guitar in particular, we should talk more about just the way you work with that versus an electric guitar. And is there some sort of technique or lesson that you would give somebody switching from electric to acoustic, or like wanting to go down a path like yours? Any just like, oh duh, obvious stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it is weird because, and even for me, like personally, I use pretty heavy gauge strings on electric or on acoustic, like 13 to 56, and then on electric I use 10s.
Okay.
Wow.
And so it's two different worlds, and I treat it as if it's two different instruments.
Yeah.
Obviously there's a different touch to it. Acoustic guitars, the way I play, is so like right hand specific that I feel like that's the biggest. Like when I'm teaching somebody, especially that's going from electric to acoustic, that always seems to be the biggest hang up for like learning flat picking, is getting the right hand stuff down.
Okay.
For me, like there's so many cross picking things I do, which is just alternate picking, but it's thinking of it in like series of 3 notes. So like if I'm taking that, like a lot of times I'll do something real simple with my left hand and just practice the cross picking thing.
Just going
Just that, yeah. So like
without
doing,
even any notes, maybe.
and I've talked about it before, like doing 6 5 4 5 4 3 4 3 2 3 2 1. And just getting the right hand thing down. And also I try not to, like there's so many, I can get into the weeds with,
Please do.
Not touching the bridge pins really with your right hand. Like,
Oh wow! So you're almost like you're up.
You're kind of hovering above.
Dude, this is great for me because I don't even use a pick, dude. And I get to
No
watch.
problem.
I love it. No, keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, so it's a weird thing. And like I had these hand problems. We were on the road with Tommy, speaking of, like in 2019, and I think I just started when I started playing. I started on Dreadnought, so a big guitar, and I would just always lay my hand back here, and everything pivoted from that point, and it just really messed up my forearm.
Like physically, you had
physically,
pain.
like the first night of that run with Tommy, it was Tommy and David Grisman. And I was in a duo, and so we would like open the show, and then Tommy and Grisman would play a set, and then I would play some with Tommy. And like first song of my duo set, my hand would just lock up.
It
And it
locked
would be
up?
the whole night, of my forearm just totally locked. The next year, everything kind of shut down, and so I had all that time to really just focus on right hand.
Did you play through the pain? Were you just like, I'm going through?
I would, yeah. Just I didn't cancel anything, but I knew that like, especially when I get on stage with Tommy and everything, like the BPM.
The adrenaline goes, and you don't
It's like
realize
Clash
it
of the
until
Titans,
after.
bro.
Exactly, and then you go backstage and it's like, I felt like I was just done.
A lot of people don't talk about that with guitar, especially is like the physical toll it can have, especially when you go from playing at home or you're jamming, but then when you get in that context where you're on stage and it's like, hey, it's like, fight or flight kind of vibe, and you go for it. A lot of people, I don't think, realize how much of a toll it takes on your hands, your ligaments, your arms.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff a lot of micro muscles and everything else that are getting.
So that was your technique up to that point that you had to adjust then?
I do feel like it was, I know it was all technique based, because once I changed my right hand form, that helped a lot. And just getting used to, like, there's so many different players. We talked about it, with Chet Atkins and Merle Travis, but like, growing up watching Tony Rice play, like his technique was so specific to just his, like he had gotten it down to where it was just his thumb and his index finger that moved. Wow. But he played really softly. And so when he was playing with a band, everybody had to quiet
Yeah, you had to come down.
to really accommodate him. And I've always been the opposite end of that spectrum, and kind of play hard.
Trey will be heard.
I feel like, dude, I feel like you do have that attack.
Yeah, it's a little, and it's a little brash, you know, and I always try to be louder than the banjo players and whatever else, you know.
It all comes back to the banjo.
Back to the banjo. The hatred of the banjo. But, and then, like, you know, even I got way into, like, how my pick hits the string and making sure the pick's flat at all times. You know, like
Which is where that term flat picking, I've only ever heard that with acoustic.
That style. Yeah, it's like, I mean, everybody uses a flat pick.
Right, that's why I was like, you mean picking or?
Do you use a specific guitar pick? Like, do you have like your favorite, or do you switch them out?
I switch them out between like 3 or 4 different kinds. Like right now I'm using this, it's a token. But they're all kind of variations of, like there was this company called Blue Chip.
Oh, I've heard of them.
And they were like the first ones, because I used to use tortoiseshell. You know, people would buy like combs and yeah, there you go. Like that.
No, but real tortoiseshell, right?
A real.
Never mind. You don't mean Tortex?
Tyler goes, the one with the turtle?
You know, this one's legal.
Well, you're kind of right.
I didn't murder any tortoises.
So where'd you get a piece of turtle? Did you?
They would, you know, like these people out in East Tennessee would go to like antique shops and buy combs. Or, you know, like
fashion it.
Yeah, like the big cigarette trays or whatever you could find, and then cut them up,
shave off a piece.
Yeah, but they sounded okay, but like you would have to work on them continuously because it's you know a piece of material.
Yeah,
it'll start to go.
Yeah, and so this guy in Knoxville created these Blue Chip picks. I mean, I'd only been playing a few years when he came up with those, and I used those like specifically for 20 years.
I think I saw those at Carter's years ago. They're like $40 a piece.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I remember.
Whoa, that's serious.
Some of these guitar players would show me, like one dude was like, check it out. Like he showed me his Blue Chip, and I was kind of like, sick pick, dude.
You're only as good as how much your pick costs.
That's right. Yeah, we're down to that now.
That's amazing.
Do you still use that?
I've got some that I use quite a bit, and these are the same. And then, like, I've got a tone slab that are really nice, but they're all made out of they're
tone slab.
Tone slab. They're
What are the points of the different picks? No pun intended. Like, what's the reason for using one versus the other?
well, for those three, it's just different tones for me. Like the Blue Chip, I still like the Blue Chip quite a bit. They just, I mean, when it gets to this, I don't know what the material is. But whatever the material is, like a really hard piece of plastic, they're very thick, and when you hit the string, like to me the notes are rounder.
Can I feel your pick, dude?
Yeah.
Oh, that is pretty thick, dude.
Yeah, let's see.
That's pretty badass. Like you could use this damn thing as a frisbee, dude.
Oh yeah. Here's the tone slab.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's badass.
This thing's like a bass pick, to me.
Yeah, you know Steve Warner. I was just riding with him, and
I like this
he
design.
kept one of the tone slabs.
He goes, hey man, you got a pick for my bass? You're like, yep.
And so he kept it, and I think he bought a couple just for bass, you know, because it is a nice bass pick. But
So it's a volume thing, a tone thing. Is it a mindset? If you're playing a heavier versus lighter versus different material, do you tend to play a certain way?
yeah, I mean, like if I'm playing in the studio, I'll bring Altoid can full of 100 different picks. And and for different guitars, obviously it's a different thing. I mean, I'm almost always playing a big, dreadnought. I don't do as much in the studio anymore for, playing on other people's records. But when I was, I would just bring a whole bunch of stuff. And
Did you do that a lot?
not a ton, but I would do some when I was here. And I like it. It's just I think I don't know. I've always worked on my thing.
I know the feeling.
It's like even when I play on somebody else's records, I'm not a great chameleon, and I feel like I always stick out.
I feel like I meet a lot of players that are that, and they could do like an amazing cover band gig, or they can walk into a session and sound like 20 different players. And one of my biggest faults is that no matter what I pick up, I sound like me.
Yeah.
And then if you want that, I got that. But I remember one time someone goes, dude, we need like an edge thing. And I was like, oh, God. I was like,
I'm not the guy.
you need to go find somebody else, bro, because I don't even know how to do
I
that.
always love, there's a great Buddy Emmons story, the great pedal steel player. and he was playing on a session, and they wanted him to play like somebody else, and they said the other person's name, and he just came on the talk back and said, "You hire Buddy Emmons, you get Buddy Emmons," you know.
That's badass.
Yeah, I mean, also that's like the calling card, and I think that is what defines you, especially with the instrument. You know, is like you have your own sound, your style, and that's what works.
It obviously led you to glorious heights because you just won a Grammy for the best blues album of the year. Not a bad feather in the cap.
Dude, how did that feel? I saw the pictures of you, your wife, and your daughter, I believe.
Oh yeah, that was
There,
awesome.
Dressed up.
That was great. I did this album in like 2014 with Rob Ickes that was nominated for the Bluegrass album that year. And so my daughter was a newborn at that time.
Cool.
Me and my wife went, but she didn't get to go. And so this time I got to bring my daughter and my wife. And yeah, we had a great time because, I mean, my daughter's, she's into music a little bit, and I've never like pushed my music on her that much as I would like to, like make her listen to Zeppelin.
Sweetheart, get in here, quick. You got to hear this.
I mean, she does a great Tom Waits impersonation, which is hilarious.
Amazing. That's how you know you're raising your child right.
And so, but she was all into like, Taylor Swift and Sabrina Carpenter and all the stuff that's huge at the Grammys. But I do have a great picture because I've met some people through social media. And so like Mike Dirnt of Green Day was there, and so we got to hang with him, and then like Rob Halford was there, and so like I got to introduce my daughter to Rob Halford.
That's incredible.
She didn't know that's cool now, but
She one day though she'll see that picture and she'll be like, "Whoa!" Even if she's not like a Priest fan, like it'll eventually click in, like, "Holy crap!" Like that happened. Dude, what a great honor, man! Congratulations.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, that was pretty great. I mean, it was a record I did with Taj Mahal, which was way cool.
Yeah.
What's some highlights on that record that particularly stick out?
It's funny. I mean, that record, it was just total happenstance, like album, because it's a live record, and we had done probably like a month's worth of shows that year, or I'd done with Taj, and just going out. Like I would sing some songs, but I was playing all the guitar. For the show, and he wasn't playing at all. And then later on that year, we did the tour, and then we had started like a studio album pre-COVID, like February 2020, and we got half a record done, and then we never finished it. And so when Taj called later after the tour was over, and he said they had just renovated Leon Russell's studio in Tulsa. And I don't think they'd had anybody in there yet. And they were kind of wanting Taj to be one of the first live recordings that they did there. And so we did that show. And it's funny because when we did the tour, as most tours, like the longer the tour went, the more refined the set list went. And we kind of, by the end of it, we were doing a pretty standard set and had everything kind of feeling good. But then when we did the live record, we rehearsed, and we rehearsed all the songs we were doing on tour. And I love it, but at the time it was weird because Taj was just calling tunes, and it was like brand new stuff we'd never played, and this was live and in front of people, and so I remember that night leaving and just not feeling very confident in what I did, and then a few years later, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna put that record out," and I'm singing.
You're like, "What?"
Yeah, I'm singing I think 2 or 3 of the songs on it, and those we did during the tour, and so I felt confident on those. But everything else, I was a little shaky, But when it came out great, and
I'll say.
There's kind of a thing though when it's shaky.
Right.
it is. Yeah, there's an
energy,
and there's a complete energy on that record, and I think I've heard like when Don Williams would go in to record, and he would bring his band from the road, but he would make them all change instruments, and to like get them to be uncomfortable, know. And so when you hear like some of those records, when it's real sparse, it's because the musicians didn't know what to do.
Hey, the guitar player's on the drums, and he's like,
There's no bass pedal.
The bass drum doesn't go with the crash. That was always my weakness. Gosh.
"That's funny, dude."
That just came out. That took a while. I mean, it was live in the studio, but it just took a while to actually make time to do it.
Yeah.
And now I'm working on another record with Brian Sutton producing it.
Cool.
And yes, we've got like 4 tracks done for that.
Awesome, man.
But it's always kind of weird because the new record just came out, and I'm touring it this year pretty heavily. So I want to be excited about it, but by the time they come out, you're
already onto the next thing.
You've heard them a million times and through mixing or whatever.
Where does your songwriting voice come from on these albums when it comes to your specific style of music? Do you have an identity that you've forged from multiple players? Do you feel like you have a certain signature that defines you? What would you say?
I don't know. I mean, it's like the songwriting part of it is so abstract to me, and I don't get it really. It was one of those things that happened for me like later. I was just always been a guitar player. I was really focused on that, and then I always sang, but that's never been my favorite part of playing. Like I was just playing guitar,
Yeah.
And then when I would just always do cover songs, but then when it comes to songwriting, that's always still been a little bit of a mystery. And I think I've never written everything's just always from an outside perspective. And so that makes it a little easier to digest for me. But
well, it's funny because you can nail a lick, and that's objectively like you just nailed that lick. But with a song, you can't. You can think you nailed the song, but it's like, nope, that was totally wrong.
Yeah, you don't know, and that's. Weird. I mean, a lot of these songs, like I worked with a producer, this guy Brent Mayer, this great producer, and I've worked on him on a couple different projects, and really, that's a lot of the reason that it took so long to get this record done was that I just didn't know. Like I would send him songs, and finally it was like, "Hey, I've got probably 30 songs. Would you like to listen to them?" And he, and really I had enough for at least a couple of albums.
Yeah.
That were kind of. But the problem with me also is like getting 10 because I'm into a lot of different kinds of music.
Right.
And 10 that like cohesively fit together. Or it's always a different thing for me, and
it's weird, man. I mean, yeah. Once you're doing it for yourself too, especially when you have such like wide influences, you go, what? It's almost like you could throw a dart. It's like, what are we trying to hit?
Yeah, it is.
It just captures who you are in that era or that year or that month or whatever it is, and I think that could be a way to alleviate some of that stress of like who am I, what should I be? You just like let it, whatever's flowing at that moment.
I have friends that will sit their whole lives on songs because they don't know, and they're like, is this it, and I'm like, just put the music out, man. Just roll with it, especially nowadays. It's like if you're putting out records or putting out songs, it's like, man, just have fun with it and do what you're feeling.
Expect nothing.
Expect nothing, because guess what? No, I'm just kidding. I expect nothing. It's a great mantra.
Yeah. So what do you practice then? If you're working on these songs, you're having a career as a guitar player, but you're already so accomplished, how do you maintain what you do?
Something tells me he still practices a lot.
Oh, I practice quite a bit. I mean, when I'm home, I practice as much as I can. And it's funny because I do play electric and acoustic, and so like for the last several years, it's been so acoustic specific that I've not played electric that much. And this year, that was kind of one of the goals, was that I wanted to do more electric stuff. So I'm doing some, like electric trio stuff later in the year.
Amazing.
Singing?
Yeah.
Right on.
And this new record that I'm working on with Brian is electric.
Oh, dude, killer.
So it's fun. I mean, that still feels a little bit like getting back on the horse for me. Like I'm getting my sea legs on the electric, because it's funny, I'll do an electric show and I just feel like I'm going to break the neck off of my guitar because I'm so used to this, and and it doesn't work. It's like it's a totally different approach for me. But there's so much. I mean, there's still a lot I want to work on, and I feel like everybody gets in a rut, and you just want to get out of that, and so for me, like I know last several years have been a lot of jazz standards and that kind of stuff, and then actually just trying to figure out what I, like some theory things or what it
How
is.
are you with the theory stuff?
I'm not good at all.
Really?
Like I never got into
Play
it.
me a 145 in G now.
I can kind of do that, okay, but that's about the extent of it,
Right. What more do you need than that, though, right?
That's right. That's
Well, dude, here's the thing. Obviously, you've been playing for a while, and your ear has been built up so heavily that sometimes I meet players that are really dominant on the actual listening of it, that the theory, it just comes and it goes. It's not like it's like, a really steadfast thing.
Yeah, I mean, the guy that I took lessons off when I was a kid, real old school, and it there was never any, I just always remember playing his guitars, and they were always set up, like cowboy chord stuff. The action would be so high at the 12th fret, but it's all about getting volume, and you never played up here really. And there was zero theory. It was all just like, here's what I play.
Yeah.
You play it.
Do it like me.
Do it like me. And there's so much of that in the bluegrass world where it's like, it's always kind of been that way, where, the older generation showing a younger generation, and you kind of figure it out.
I feel like it's truly passed down.
Indeed. It is, yeah. It's pretty, it's still kind of like that.
So do you have certain lines that you warm up with or practice? That one thing you did with the threes, that seems like an excellent warm up.
I do that quite a bit, and I'll do, a lot of times I'll just do like a 1-4-5 over G.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's exactly what you told me to do. Yeah, exactly what you told me to do. But I'll just do a lot of chord shape stuff, so if it's like... I'm just moving it up. Yeah, just walk 'em up. But really kind of focusing on the right hand more than the left. I mean, the left hand kind of, but...
The left hand's sort of on autopilot, and you have... Because that is, I would agree with you, that the right hand really dictates, especially with an acoustic instrument, how all the notes are going to sound out. And also when mutes are happening, etc. Didn't seem like there was any muting going on there. That's just exact precision.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do like things like the ending, the D section of like Black Mountain Rag, where it's a lot of repetitive kind of back and forth notes. Like it's just over C. It's like 1-4-5 over C. But... or move that down to like a playing G. It's the same idea, but just kind of moving it around in different shapes. Or different chords, same shape.
Yeah.
But a lot of like repetition of that. Anything that I can do that's, going to be like there's another Doc Watson lick that's not very useful, like in a musical context, but like it's.
I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, just a chromatic run. I'll play something like that going from one G to the next, and just because I don't use my pinky that often, so that's the biggest thing I have to warm up.
Okay.
Is like actually using that, and then the older I get, like I can feel.
You can feel that.
I can feel the arthritis coming in.
I'll say it's fascinating to hear every note. I feel like that punctual thing you have, where it's like when you're playing that line up top, you can hear every note. It's like the same. There's no falter in the dynamic, which is really sick.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like to dictate the dynamics when they happen, and that was something I did work on. Was like trying to get my up strokes on my pick to make the same volume, and that's, I mean, because obviously it doesn't, your downstrokes are always going to be more prominent. So I remember practicing that, maybe not like to the extent of really saying it out loud. I mean, I want to make, but it was just subconsciously.
You hear it in your head, and you're like, it doesn't quite sound like what I hear in my head.
I want them to all be the same. And I don't really know, because I mean, it's like, but when I hear Doc Watson, I kind of hear that. I hear that. That specific.
So also the guitar you're holding, that's your guitar.
It is.
Yeah, what's up with that thing?
That thing's beautiful.
Yeah, I love this thing. It's a Taylor Gold Label Yeah, my signature model.
This is your signature. Dude, did you put a sticker in there?
I did.
I can see it from my angle.
Somebody gave me like a handful of these Charles Bukowski stickers,
It's in
and
the
I
guitar.
love them.
Like, you can only see it from this angle.
I can't
I love them. Yeah.
I haven't seen a Taylor. I have a Taylor here. It doesn't look like that.
That's got such a
Yeah,
cool...
the gold label, they did a different headstock.
Okay.
And like I've known the folks at Taylor for a long time, and I've always loved Andy Powers, because when I would pick with him, like he's a big bluegrass nerd too, and grew up listening to Doc Watson. When I would play like a Dreadnought Taylor, I just didn't feel like it ever had the like power that I was kind of going for. In the bluegrass setting as much. And then when they started doing these gold labels, I don't know, it's a different bracing that just kind of works for this style. And I was playing one of their gold label Grand Pacifics for like several months as kind of my only guitar.
Wow.
Which is pretty abnormal because I've probably got 40 or 50 acoustic guitars.
How do you judge an acoustic? Like the sound of it?
Yeah, I mean, like for me, it's always got to have.
You have to have the acoustic chord
That's
that you play first.
It has to have kind of a big E chord going in, and these strings are pretty bad, but I've got to have that.
Oh yeah, we all get. Hey, you hit it, and me and Tyler like, oh, Biggie. That's pretty big, I guess.
Not bad.
So that's always it, There's always a little bit of like for me, the gold labels in particular just had this kind of across the boardness of them. Like a lot of times, like when I'll play some of my bigger Dreadnoughts, they're really great for that kind of boomy thing. But then when I go for the like single line clarity notes, it just gets muddy, and it's hard to portray what I'm trying to say. And so these, like, it felt like everything. It was a lot easier for me to do the things I wanted to do.
I think about it too, and especially for like the bluegrass setting and all that. Thinking about it, and you talk about like the boominess or if it has the punch, because truly, like if you were sitting there playing, it's like you got to stick out.
Yeah.
So a lot of your style and your technique, I feel like that'll automatically make you stick out. But to have a guitar that hits with you, that's what you need.
It's really important because I mean, a lot of times, like I would go through these different phases where I would bring guitars because I always plug in. And so I would go to these shows and I would play a guitar that sounds really great plugged in. And then when I go to, like, if I was going to jam or something, or just even practice backstage with the band, the guitar would just be lost. And so, yeah, it was, I started playing a prototype of this guitar. And then it was like, yeah, this kind of works perfect for what I do. I didn't really change much. I put different bridge pins. A little bit, I think a little different neck.
I like that little pick guard.
Oh yeah, I like the pick guard.
Dude, I like the burst on it too.
Yeah,
It's
that
like
was an Andy Powers thing. I mean, I was kind of like, I like a burst, and he sent me, I think, 2 different guitars, like 2 different bursts, and I liked this one.
It's subtle, but it's like
Yeah, it's just enough to.
Do you want to see how it holds up with some rhythm underneath?
Sure, how about that?
Thanks for letting us try. You were doing some sick stuff, man.
Hey, right back to you guys, man.
When you think about what you're going to play, obviously it's all a stream of consciousness in the moment. But are there certain things that you rely on? Just getting to know a chord progression, for example, like, all right, I know this is going to take me to the place I'm meant to arrive.
I mean, it's a lot of chord shapes that I'm always thinking of, like the next variation of. So there's a lot of, like in G, you know. All those different kind of.
Basically, like different
Triads.
It's like triads up the neck, yeah.
Exactly.
I got the one.
Got the cutaway.
That's cool, man.
And so it's, yeah, a lot of that. And there's a lot of, I'll practice like triads over different chord shapes, kind of like the 1-4-5 thing. So there's, I mean, I guess that's really about it, you know. There's certain times I'll think of, like in bluegrass, it's so contextual with like different players, and it's almost like, I always think of it, you know, I just played with Bela Fleck last summer, and we played a Flat and Scruggs song, and it's just funny to hear somebody that has their own voice playing, you know, Earl Scruggs lick, or, you know, and so it's the same for like when I'm thinking of, you know, like sometimes I'll play in a trad song that had been covered by Tony Rice, and I'll hear those Tony licks, you know, all the kind of blues things that he would do. You know, and so when I'm thinking of like those licks, I might have some of that going on. But really, that's like the only time that I'm ever thinking licks. Like if I want to quote something or somebody.
Yeah, if you want to hit a certain thing.
Other than that, it's all like around the chord shapes.
With the speed, did the speed just come, or was that something you really consciously tried to build?
It was something I consciously tried to build. I remember being younger, and like when I got into Tony Rice, that's almost a different, you know, part of bluegrass. It's like a subgenre. I mean,
Tony Rice bluegrass.
Can you play a few Tony Rice licks for me?
Yeah, I mean, and it's like there's a variation of, well, things.
Okay, hold up though. That little. What was that?
Whoa, dude.
Oh, you're hit, yo, dude. That's.
I only do that when I mess up.
Yeah, that was kind of and it's funny because that's like late era Tony, early 2000s.
I'm gonna steal that, dude.
Dude, Jared's always stealing licks.
I'm a stealer. I was on the road with Richie Kotzen, the Winery Dogs, and he would do those things where all of a sudden Richie would do like a
It's like an Indian sitar.
It is very Indian sitar-like.
Stolen.
You can do it on another note.
And then he would do it like.
Oh, over there. Yeah.
That.
Having a seizure on the street.
That's cool, man. So he brought more like the bluesy, almost like a little sassy.
It was, definitely more of the blues. Like before him, in the lineage was like Clarence White, and he played with the Byrds.
Yes.
Telecaster.
Yes.
Byrds, and like there's pre-Byrds Clarence, which was very Doc Watson like, and then there's post-Byrds Clarence where he was playing more like he would play with his middle finger, like do more hybrid picking.
Okay.
On acoustic guitar, which I really don't do that at all. Like I'll hybrid pick electric.
Right.
I just don't do any hybrid picking on acoustic. But he would.
It's probably hard to match.
I can't. Well, even when you listen to Clarence, you can hear it. Like there's definitely a volume. Like he would do cross picking.
Well, I even think when I'm trying to play acoustic, if I'm alone playing acoustic, it's great because I can match my dynamics. But if I'm trying to play in the flesh to a pick, it's so much lower, you know.
Yeah.
So.
And you have a piece of granite for a fingertip too.
Oh, I do. Yeah, look at that nasty sucker, dude. Hey, yeah, don't be like me, kids. No, but it is a big difference between that punctual of a pick to a finger. Much different. That's why on the electric, it's not as noticeable. But
Yeah, because normally you associate an acoustic guitar, at least I did when I first started playing, as like a friendly instrument, and electric is like mean and could be angry.
Yeah.
But infusing that energy into an acoustic context, I think, is really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's I didn't really. I mean, I thought about it before playing electric, but I think when I went to electric and I could, you know, crank an amp and it was important when I went back to acoustic to be able to bring some of that.
Right.
And I do miss, like a lot of times I'll think about how much I miss having, you know, just some, like the notes just die so quickly on an acoustic guitar. So you don't really have any.
No safety net.
There's
whatsoever.
no safety net. Yeah.
yeah, dude, you're naked with an acoustic straight up.
Yeah, and so a lot of times, like, I'll go to play a bend and kind of lean on it as if I'm playing an electric more, and then it's like, oh man, it's gone. Yeah. Just as quickly as it appeared.
Well, it's interesting you say that because your sound is so full, even when it's single lines, and that's a testament to the dynamics that you have control over. But is there a certain type of playing that, or just like, is it an approach more than anything to have that full sound when it's chords? And I suppose it's just the evenness of the notes that I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely, like, I grew up, you know, playing by myself for the most part. And so I think I started doing gigs pretty early on, and I hated when I would feel there was a hole, you know,
Yeah.
almost to a fault. Like now when I do more acoustic solo shows, I've become more comfortable with the silence.
Yeah.
But before it was like I have to, if there's silence, I must get rid of it. You know, either with cross, and there's a lot of cross picking stuff, like an accompaniment, almost like you're playing, you know. Well, I think of bringing Tony Rice back into it. There's a great album he did called Church Street Blues, and it's just, for the most part, it's just him. His brother plays on some of it, and there's never a moment on that record when he's playing that I feel like it needed anything else. But there's a lot of just cross-picking accompaniment.
So with that, it's almost like you're outlining things underneath. It's like you're playing, and I guess that would be a dynamic thing that would be happening underneath at all times. Yeah, that's cool.
It's and so I did try to think about that, or like, you know, practice songs that I knew I was going to do in a solo set, and try to figure out ways that I could make myself more accompanied. You know.
I notice the difference on an acoustic when it comes to the higher register notes within chords. So like this chord like this, you might play this on electric and it'll sound fine, but you got to really make sure to hit that note right there, and having the precision, to use that word again, to make those melodic notes stand out in a kind of convoluted rhythm section. It's really an art.
I think there's a lot of it for me. Like I'll think of something like that where I want to play each individual note instead of a strum. And I think I've gotten rid of a lot of, like if I'm playing, I'll just play something off that Church Street Blues album. Stuff that's happening that kind of sounds like a strum, but it's really just single note.
It's just your single notes are so fast and precise that it almost sounds like a strum.
I'm noticing something new about the acoustic guitar, that you're sort of treating those top two strings almost like a hi-hat or just like a cymbal almost, and these are the drums.
Yeah.
And these are like kind of brushing. Every now and then they'll ring out a little bit just for texture.
I do think, like, for me, like the high strings, I always bring them in for rhythm playing, and I don't know that it was that I really thought about it as much, but I do remember when I was a kid, I got to play some with Johnny Cash. And,
You did?
yeah, and
Dude, tell us about that, bro.
Really?
I played some. They were doing a record. Like a duo record and all like Carter family stuff. And I mean, that's the style I grew up on, was all the like Wildwood Flower that I played earlier. Everything that I learned when I was a kid was that. And so they were going to do those songs. But when I really like got into studying Maybelle Carter stuff, there's every time she would hit a downstroke, there was an upstroke happening. So like, for instance, she played thumb and finger stuff. There's a lot of that always happening for texture. And I think I brought that in a lot with my rhythm playing.
Almost subconsciously, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, like, because I don't play that way. I would bring it in, you know, and I studied those records so much that I think it changed the way I play rhythm quite a bit. And even when I play, like, to your point, I think that's true. It's like I'll hit a lot of upstrokes on the first two strings that I'm maybe not even necessarily aware of,
Right.
that are just happening as almost drone notes that, you know, just kind of stay there. And
How old were you when you played with Johnny Cash?
right after the Opry video, so it was 2002.
That was a good year.
Yeah, it was a good year. 2002 was
A few
great.
hits on that. What was that like, bro?
It was pretty awesome. I mean, I grew up in the very corner of Tennessee, right across the line from like Bristol, Virginia, and so it's still up there in Hilton's, which is right close to Bristol, the Carter Fold, which is where like AP and Sarah Carter started that in the 70s. And it's just a like barn on this 2-lane road in Virginia, and every Saturday night they still do shows there.
Wow.
But if you keep going down that road, like less than a mile, Maybelle Carter's cabin is still there. Wow. And so this would have been, I think, the last year they were alive, and they were going back quite a bit to that cabin. And so I met them because the first place I ever played was the Carter Fold. Like I knew one song.
Dude, you were blessed by the
That's like
the
some
guitar
hollow
gods.
ground.
Yeah, that's
It is,
insane.
so at the time it was ran by Jeanette Carter, was AP and Sarah's daughter, and so she would just let me come up and play during the intermission. Wow. And played Carter family songs, and then she introduced me to Johnny and June. And but it was all studying that Carter family stuff. I think that's the reason I got to do that, was because it was, you know, I was so into that music.
And was that when you played with him?
Yeah, that was the first place I played with him, was there. And then I played at June's birthday party that year.
Did you play her happy birthday?
I didn't play Happy Birthday. Yeah, nobody played Happy Birthday, I don't think.
Okay, here's a question. I don't know if you remember this, but like, this sounds so heavy to me, like that you were in that, like with that crew of people, and I'm sure they're obviously beautiful people, but that's like some heavyweight music family. So like, was the energy like really loose and carefree, or was it like, all right, Trey's gonna play now? Were you like this? Were you like?
No, it was really loose.
Okay.
It was really loose. And honestly, that party specifically was like, you know, it was only family and a few friends, and you know, like I met Tom T. Hall, which is
I love Tom T. Hall.
So Tom T. was there, and he and Miss Dixie owned a house right across the road from Maybelle's cabin.
Did you get to jam with Tom T. Hall?
Yeah, my first.
Come on, dude.
The first album I ever did.
If you guys don't know who Tom T. Hall is, that's like gold, man.
Oh, he's the best. Well, he did this thing, him and his wife, like in the early 2000s up until, you know, I don't know when they stopped doing it, but not a lot of people knew it, but they had a great studio in their house. Wow. And they had a separate house on their property, and they would specifically have bluegrass bands come in, and they could use their studio for free. And like Tom T would produce and it was, you know, just if he liked you, he would let you come to his house. And so because of Johnny Cash, the first album I ever did was at Tom T's.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah, it was great. Man.
A few months ago on Marketplace, I'm a Facebook Marketplace dweller. Dude. Someone had one of Tom's old guitar cases.
Really?
And the guy wanted $50 for it. And it was up there for like 4 days. And like, I just saw it and I was like, what? And it was just this beater 70s case. It looked like it'd been around the world like 10 times. I hit the guy up. I was like, dude, can I buy this case? He's like, man, I just sold it this morning. And I was like, oh.
You can't wait on a Tom T case too long.
You can't wait on that.
Dude, that's awesome.
That was a core part of my childhood. I remember my uncle really liked Johnny Cash, and I spent a lot of time with him.
So that was
that was a biggie. But I think Marty was probably, you know, that happened early on. But I remember growing up in the 90s, and I never really liked like the CMT country stuff, but you couldn't avoid it. But I remember seeing Marty on television. He was always different, You know, I always liked his music.
Is there with bluegrass? Is it kind of like, because like in the blues, I know there's a lot of people that are very traditional, and there's a code, and like you do this or you're not. It's almost like, is it that way in the bluegrass world a lot?
Oh yeah.
And there's people that are like, I play traditional bluegrass, or I play this type of bluegrass. You know what I'm trying to say?
There's a lot of, like, the whole trad world. I love like Flat and Scruggs and some Bill Monroe stuff, and the trad world can get a little, you know, just very. I mean, they're so into it that like bluegrass only existed in 1946, and anything after that was a mistake, you know.
Right.
And like even you can hear it in G chords. Like that group of people will play a G.
Yeah,
like that, and they keep the B's open.
Yeah.
But like anybody that's into like Tony Rice or modern bluegrass gets rid of the G. So like your A is muted.
Yeah, you're cutting that out.
And you're cutting out the. So it's almost like this happier chord that you hear for. I always think of like John Denver.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Denver.
It's too happy for my life. You know? Like I gotta get rid of those B's.
I could see that being a thing for sure with bluegrass. But yeah, I feel like you embody so much. Like obviously there's the bluegrass thing, but you have like a total. I don't know, man. I feel like you could sit in with anybody.
Well, I like everything, you know, and so that's part of it. Is like I just could never get in that circle where it was like you have to be this way, you know, because there's so much more. There's so much music that I have tried to absorb.
When I was a kid in East Troy, Wisconsin, we had a big bluegrass festival. It would be on the square every year, and people would come in their vans, you know, and people would jam.
Yeah.
Dude, and they'd sit in circles and bluegrass. And I remember my mom, she, bless her, she goes, "You should take your guitar up to the bluegrass festival."
It'll be fine,
And
hon.
me and my friend Brad, literally, we got our electrics, bro.
Okay.
And we're like 15. I'm wearing like a Dark Side of the Moon shirt, thinking like people are like jamming, you know. And we walk up and we just see them playing. We have our guitars and we just go, "Dude, let's go back to your." We were so scared. They're all like, it was hilarious, dude.
It is a whole world, man. It's a very, and everybody. It's so funny because I grew up in it, like the East Tennessee. You know, we're talking about ETSU. They've got a bluegrass. You could go there and like get a major in bluegrass. Wow. You know, like you can study all about it, and it's great. You know, great program. But it's really so like when I was a kid, there were still weekly jams at multiple spots. You know, like every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, and I would go. You know, 10, 11 years old, and like Saturday night, I've left a lot of times. Like get there at 7 or 8. And leave when the sun's coming up, you know, and
big jams,
just
man.
play all night, you know.
Do you feel like as it is with blues? We just went on a blues cruise with Bonamassa, and obviously it was a ton of fun. I looked at it just now. But do you ever feel, man, like with the bluegrass thing? I mean, I feel like you're able to bring people in a cool way because there's a lot of, especially guitarists and people that would never really get into that, but they could hear someone like you and they could go, "Wow, I love this sound. I love this style." I feel like you're a great gateway for people now to get into bluegrass.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, I love it, and I get why it's a acquired taste. You know, if you hear like some of the traditional stuff, I grew up around it. It makes sense to me. You know, but I feel like, yeah, even just playing with other people, like it makes sense. Like it clicks. I always think that like I got into, you know, like Slayer and stuff when I was a teenager, and it made sense. Like for me, it sounds so akin to like bluegrass playing.
Slayer?
Yeah, I don't know why. It's like the guitar playing.
Slayer's actually bluegrass, dude.
Yeah, Slayer is bluegrass.
All of a sudden, Kerry King comes out with the tell-all.
He busts through that door. What'd you say?
Guitar World presents Kerry King, the bluegrass.
Kerry King's new signature banjo.
Did you ever meet those dudes? Were you doing that one thing?
Oh, yeah, we could do.
Yeah.